Okay, but you understood it, right?
Yes.
So let me repeat for the sake of
Yes.
those who are going to be making use of recordings, because when I was explaining, the recording was still paused. So we said for the third equation, we have explained how they arrived at the first two equations. We are done with them. And then this one, we said we are canceling value because it's been taken or it's been possessed by the PY. It's been captured by the PY here. Yes, Raymond, please mute your mic. And then we remain with what? With the MP, which is the marginal product, is the marginal physical product. And then at the end, you remain with what? You end up having the price of Y times the marginal physical product. That will give you your value of the marginal product. The value of the marginal product, the value of the total product, the value of the average product. So if I made a mistake, this V, I think it denotes value, and then value. If it's variable, I don't know, but I think it's value, because VMP is the value of marginal product, the average value of the product, the total value of the product. Yeah, that is what they stand for, because value, that is why when I was explaining, I said value is what is money, is the price. So the explanation is still correct there. So these are some of the things your lecturers will never explain to you in class. That is why it is imperative for you to attend the sessions, because we teach things differently. And then the explicit cost and the implicit cost, I'm not going to explain them. The definition is clear. So we'll go to the other formula. So far I gave you, there are a lot of formulae that I gave you. So I hope you have been writing them down, because once we start working on the examples, the question paper, I won't be projecting these notes. So my assumption is that you have been taking notes. Yes, is that a question? Someone's mic is on. Tato Mahotso Malebon, do you want to tell us something? Thank you. Let us continue to the third, why am I saying the third? To another equation, the total cost function. Total cost, we are referring to all the costs that the firm incurred. And all the costs we are referring to here are two. So there are two types of costs, remember, in the company. The first cost is what? The total fixed cost. Total fixed cost, meaning that we are looking at those costs that do not change throughout the production period. For example, your rent, you will forever pay a rent of maybe 500,000 for the whole year. It will not change. So it's fixed. So it's the total fixed cost. So you pay the rent for the usage of that land. So that cost is fixed. But then we also have another type of cost, which is called total variable. So the total variable costs are the ones that vary throughout the production period, such as the wages and salaries of your employees. So these are the costs that your company incurs. And then they might vary according to the revenue your company is making. So just like what happened during COVID-19, many companies were still forced to pay rent, and then they were also forced to pay tax, the lump sum tax. Remember, lump sum tax is fixed. So if the government says you are going to pay 500,000 the whole year, for the whole year, every year, it's not going to change. It's not going to increase. It's not going to decrease. It will remain like that throughout the production process. So in that case, we are saying it's a total fixed cost. But the wages and the salaries of the employees last year, because of COVID-19, had to be cut. They had to be reduced, just like us. as students, our incomes were reduced to 1.4 or 1.1. Why was it reduced? Because the Department of Higher Education and Training received the lower budget compared to in other previous years. So if it was a company, we would say the D had made lower revenue compared to in other previous years. So that is why the salaries of us as students, and in this context, we might be regarded to as employees, our salaries and wages had to be reduced. So they vary according to the availability of funds in the company, according to the income, the revenue, or the profit. So the total cost is the TFC plus the TVC, right? So the TFC is fixed, it will not change. So if they say it's 60, it will be 60 throughout all the production period. But the total variable cost, we can calculate it using this formula. The price of X multiplied by X. Not the price of Y, right? The price of X multiplied by X. So PX is only used when we calculate the what? The total variable cost. Are you still with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the reason they are using the price of X to calculate the total variable cost is one and only one. So remember the cost we are talking about here. These are the costs we incur in order to get the what? To acquire the resources that we are going to use to produce goods and services. Is that not true? The costs that we incur are on the acquisition of the materials that are going to be used in the production of goods and services. Do you agree? So this is the money we are going to pay for buying seeds, for buying laborers, for buying land, for buying other resources. So all those are the inputs, and input is denoted by X. So that is why we take the price of X, which is the price of input, we multiply by the total number of inputs in order to get the total variable cost. Do you understand the reason why they are using price of X multiplied by X? Hello?
Tomorrow, this network is giving some of us hassles. So,
Am I still breaking? Was I breaking?
No.
Oh, okay. Cheryl, you will get a
no,
recording.
I'm thinking mine.
Yes, so you will get the recording, don't worry. And then you will listen to the recording, and then whenever you feel like you don't understand, you are always welcome to consult with us. There are 3 mentors in here and also others who did not join the session today. You can also make use of your lecturers, but I know that most of the times when students go through the recordings, they don't normally come back to me and ask questions because everything would have been clearly explained here. So, so are you saying you understood the reason behind the PX multiplied by X? This X is the number of inputs. So you take the number of inputs, you multiply by the price of inputs. Did you understand how it came about?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I think we are done. We can now go to the examples. I mean to say to the question. Oh, we are not done. And then here, how did they calculate total fixed costs? So the total fixed costs remain constant, right?
Yes.
Yes. So sometimes they might not give you the total costs. Please, my beautiful and handsome student, listen carefully here. I know this was not explained in class. Listen carefully. So sometimes they will give you this information in tabular form, right? Suppose they don't give you the total fixed costs, right? And then they just give you the first value of the total cost, which is 60, right? So please listen carefully here. Do you see here? This is quantity 0, right? Meaning that production does not take place here because this is the quantity of output. How much do you produce? You are producing nothing, but you are incurring the total cost of 60. How possible is that? You are a farmer, you are not producing, but you are being charged. There is a certain amount that you are paying. What are you paying this amount for? What is it for? Do you see it? Do you see what I'm talking about here? The output is 0. So at output 0, it means that production does not take place. The farmer is not producing anything there, but the farmer is incurring costs. So in other words, in practical sense, that tells you that this farmer is incurring the fixed costs. Because remember, the fixed cost will remain fixed. Whether you produce or you don't produce, they will always need that money. Just like your landlords. Whether you are occupying their apartments or even if you are owning a condominium, you will still pay, even if you are not staying there. Last year, the university sent us home because of COVID-19 in trying to curb the spread of the virus. We went home, but it was still taking the rental allowance from the students who were staying on camp. Even off-camp landlords, they were still taking money from the students. So you are not producing anything, you are not using that particular resource, but you are incurring costs. Those are the fixed costs. You pay whether you produce or you don't produce. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes. So you must know, to make it simpler for you, at quantity 0, right? You are going to write it at quantity 0 or at output 0, total fixed cost. Total fixed cost equals total cost. Yeah, my network is not doing me justice this side. That is why I'm not writing properly there. But I think it's gonna kick me out very soon. TFC equals TC at quantity 0. If you write it down somewhere, you will never forget, because they might give you a table like this and they say calculate or complete the unknowns or fill in the unknowns. So you must know that if you are given total fixed cost at output 0, it's equal to the total cost. Or if you are given total cost, it will be equal to total fixed cost. So you substitute it there. Do you get it?
Yes.
So that is why here the cost is fixed throughout. It's 60 throughout because we said total fixed cost do not change. So they will remain 60 forever. And then total variable cost. So remember, total cost equal total fixed costs plus total variable costs. So if you have the total cost, you can calculate, if you have the total cost and you also have the total fixed cost, you can make what? The total variable cost the subject of the formula, and then you calculate, meaning that TFC will come this side, and then you will have TC minus TFC, you will get your TVC. So in this case, you will have 60 minus 60, and then you will get this 0. 80 minus 60, you will get 20. 90 minus 60, you will get 30, just like that. So all these values were derived from this total cost formula. So we use the total cost formula to make the TVC the subject of the formula, and then we computed all the values for the total variable cost. Do you understand? So if you are given the price of X and also the values of X, so you can be able to calculate the total variable cost using PX multiplied by X. But in this case, you are just given an output. It's not X, it's Y. So you cannot use this formula. So you have to stick to this one. Are we together?
Yes. Tumelo, what's the formula for calculating total fixed cost?
Yes, for total fixed cost, you can still make it the subject of the formula here. If you are given, there's no formula for calculating total fixed cost. They will always give you total fixed cost from the statement. But if they don't give you and they give you total cost, you just know that total fixed cost, we might say the formula for calculating total fixed cost is this one. Because you know at output 0, total fixed cost is equal to total cost. So if you are not given total fixed cost in the statement, but they gave you total cost, then at output 0. So that will be the answer. And then you can also use this formula to calculate the total fixed cost. You make the total fixed cost the subject of the formula. It means that you will have TC minus TVC. So TC is 60. 60 minus 0, you will get 60. 80 minus 20, you will get 60. 90 minus 30, you will get 60. So the answer will still be fixed. So this formula is very important as well here. Should we move on to this one?
Yes.
Okay. Now we come to the average variable, the average costs, and it's very simple as well. It's simple to memorize this. So this is how you are going to derive the formula for average. So the moment they say average, just know that you are going to divide by what? By Y, by the output. When you calculate averages, average is the mean. Remember I taught you what a mean is last year. You were doing statistics. So output is Y. So you are going to divide everything, every average function here by Y. You divide every average function by Y to calculate the mean, right? So when they say calculate the average fixed costs, you will take what? You will take the what? The total fixed costs. You will take it from here, and then it means that this A, yes, these A's are captured by Y. So we have already used them. We are dividing by Y. You remain with what? You remain with FC here. You remain with VC here. You remain with TC here. So you can add T where you see A, you substitute T, you substitute T. Here you don't need to substitute T because you will have total cost. So meaning that the formula for calculating average fixed cost, A has already been captured by Y, so we cancel it and then we add T. So it means that it's total fixed costs over Y. And then for variable cost, you added T, you will have total variable costs over Y. And then for average total cost, you take the total costs, you divide by Y. Do you follow?
Yes.
Okay. So these are your formula. AFC we said is TFC over Y, which is correct. And then AVC we said is TVC over Y. And I have showed you how, or you were shown how to find this TVC. So you know how to find it. I have shown you. And then AVC is TVC over Y. And then lastly, ATC is what? Is TC over Y. But you know that total costs is equal to what? The total costs, you know, they are given by total fixed cost over total variable cost. So you can take total fixed cost, you add total variable cost, you divide by Y, you will get the answer. Or you can just add the average fixed cost with the average variable cost. How did they arrive at this? Let me show you. So if you have a ATC, you know that ATC is equal to TC over Y. But you know that TC, this TC is equal to TFC plus TVC, isn't it? TC is
Yes.
equal to TFC plus TVC. We have established this before. So it means that you can take TC, you substitute TC by TFC plus TVC, you divide all of them by what? By Y. So if we want, we can further separate those terms. We say, remember Y divides everything there. TFC over Y plus TVC over Y. So this is the same as this.
Tumelo,
Yes.
what is Y?
Y is the output.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, but we have established before that TFC over Y is what? Is average fixed cost. Plus, we have also established before that TVC over Y is what? Is average. No, this one is average variable cost. And then this one is average fixed costs. And then this is this. And then it validates this and also this. Do you see how these functions are similar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then we go to marginal cost. So what did I say about marginal cost? The moment you see marginal, you think of what? Marginal. What did I say about marginal?
Derivative.
Okay.
So you use derivative or you use delta. But you only use derivatives, you derive only when you are working with what? A function, an equation, right? And then This one is going to be applicable when you are given information just like the one that we are going to see in the upcoming slide in tabular form, where you can see or observe the actual changes. So the formula is dTc dy. So you take the total cost, you divide by the total output. And then if you are working with the actual values, you take the change in TC over the change in Y. So let's check the other slide. So you know how to calculate AFC, right? Average fixed costs. You also know how to calculate average variable cost. You also know how to calculate average total cost. So these ones, they have calculated all this using the information we had before of the TFC, TVC, and TC. So you can use that table to calculate all this. Then we'll get the answer because you are given output here. We are left with less than 10 minutes. We are supposed to rejoin using the very same link. We'll be given 10 minutes, meaning that by 22:34, we should be continuing. And then the marginal cost, I don't think you'll struggle with AFC, AVC, and ATC. Will you struggle?
No.
You won't struggle because you are given the formula, right? And then with marginal cost, the marginal cost here, just check. We said marginal cost, which formula are we going to use? The one of deriving or the one of change?
The one of change.
So we take the total cost, we divide by the total output. And then let's calculate for one. So for this one, we will have what? The total cost, the change in total cost. It's just that we don't have the total cost here, right? But that other information, that other table, okay, let me see here. Marginal costs, we don't have total costs here. We have the average total costs and the average variable cost and the average fixed cost. So, but you know that marginal cost is calculated by doing what? By taking the change in total cost over the change in Y. So if we had the data like this one, the total cost, we say 60 minus 0 over 1 minus 0, we're going to get 60, right? And then for the second one, 80 minus 60, you will get what? Remember, at this one here, right? We are still using the very same information. At this one, you will never have the marginal cost. Why? Because your output is 0. And then if you say the change in total cost over the change in Y, you will have total cost 60. You will have 60 here. Minus, what is the value coming before 60? What is this value here?
It's 0.
It's 0. And then we divide by what? By 0 minus 0. Any number divided by 0, the answer is what? Is error, is undefined, right? So meaning that you are going to indicate that undefined by dash. You don't write 0. If you try to calculate the marginal cost and you get undefined, you put a dash, not 0. 0 is a value. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes. Then for output 1, you are going to take 80, you subtract 60, you will get 20, right? You divide by 1 minus 0 is 1. Then the answer will be 20.
20.
Yes. So the third one, which is output 2, 90 minus 80, the answer is what? is 10, right? You divide by 2 minus 1 is 1. The answer is 10. So we can only do this 2 so that we can confirm if the answers are still the same. So this is 20 and 10. So at output 1, the answer is 20. At output 2, the answer is 10. Let's check if they are the same. So the answers are the same. Do you see 20 and 10? Meaning that if you can calculate for this one, you will get what? You will get the answer. But for these ones here, they were supposed to calculate them for you as well. These ones, they were supposed to put dashes. Dash, dash, and dash. Why dashes? Because when you divide by, you are dividing everything by y here, and y is 0 here. So anything divided by 0 is undefined. Therefore, you put dashes here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So we are left with how many minutes? Less than 4 minutes. Let's see if there's something that we can cover. These ones are theoretical. They might ask you to differentiate between, to explain returns to size. So this is the definition, and then these are the types of returns to size. Economies of size, diseconomies of size, they've really explained that. And then returns to scale, increasing returns to scale, decreasing and constant returns to scale, they are explaining them here. So the theory, I don't want to entertain it. So we can now go to the questions, right? So when we rejoin, we are gonna look at the questions. So we'll be responding to the questions. So you will be applying what I have taught you to do calculations. So I don't expect to see us spending a lot of time on calculations because we know all the formulae, we know the conditions for the neoclassical production function. So what we are going to do is just to be to demonstrate our enthusiasm in doing calculations to show that indeed you understood what I was explaining. Any question in these 3 minutes? Any question? Do you have questions?
Hello,
Yes.
Melo.
Yes.
Is there a relationship between marginal cost and average variable cost?
The relationship will be given by the graphs. The average costs, this is the average fixed cost, the marginal cost, you will just use these graphs to explain. You can go to the internet. They will explain, but there's a relationship. Right? Am I still with you? I'm also trying to check the question papers here. I will forward them. I will also go and explore on those graphs. I will study them very well so that I can come up with a meaningful explanation of the relationship between those curves. So, but if they say draw them, you can just copy as they are, and then you will get your marks, but know how to explain. So I want to forward you the question. Any question? Any other question? So I have sent the question paper there, and I'm gonna forward another one that I want us to use. So I'm trying to check from the ones that were forwarded to the groups a few days ago. Are you seeing the question papers? Do you see the questions?
Yes.
Okay. So by 22:34, we'll be continuing. It's gonna kick us out anytime soon.